We're still in Buenos Aires, so this video might be a little bit random, but I just know I won't make time for it when we're home. So come unpack with me. And more excitingly, let's talk about what I won't be packing next year. Before we get into literally all of this, quick story time. For those who don't know, my name is Emily and my partner Jordan and I quit our jobs in the beginning of 2022 to start traveling the world full time. So for the last 600 and something days, we have been living out of a suitcase. And here's how we do it. Let's start by going through what's in my suitcase because it's literally right here. Then I'll show you everything that's in my backpack, go through things that I regret packing, and we'll even show you a few tips and tricks of how we pack these bad boys. Okay, to give some context, we knew we were going to Canada to start the year, so we knew we needed some winter stuff. And we also knew the goal was to come down to South America, so it was probably going to be a bit hotter down here, meaning we basically had to pack for all 4 seasons in one carry-on suitcase, which did provide quite the challenge. In this side of my bag, I have my little pajama shirt. This doesn't live in any packing cube or anything like that. I have my little bum bag. I got this for the Kilauea loop in Ecuador and it has come in handy multiple times since. I think the only thing that's in here is a couple of packets of Nifty 50, which is GoTo's little SPF, because if you're out on a hike, the last thing you want to do is get burnt. And if I can't bring a full thing and I need to reapply, these are perfect for on the go. This is actually Jordan's Mac pack. We sort of go between needing to take something for one another based on how full our bags feel. And a couple of things like how you pack your bag or like how much laundry you have really determine how full your bag feels. So at the moment I have this because he had a lot of laundry. Next I have my beanie. I feel like I wore this recently. Oh, I had this out because of the Salcante trek. I took it with me there. In this bag, I keep a pair of my shoes. Normally it's my hiking boots, but my bag space is quite full. So that has been switched out to my trainers. I like to keep these in a bag just because they're normally kind of gross from walking out on the streets all day. Maybe you've accidentally stepped in some dog poo. You don't want that spreading around through everything. There's lots of space inside of a shoe like this. I like to take advantage of that. So I have a little pouch that just has a couple of little memory card cases and little extra cords that we need. I got these shoes because they were the cheapest ones I could find in Australia and they gave me such bad blisters on the flight to Portland that I was so nervous about having the year without those shoes.
What have you got in your feet?
I am rocking socks and Birkenstocks today because by the time we got to Sydney on our travel day, I already had massive blisters on my feet from my new sneakers. The only other shoe option I have is my hiking boots, which also currently give me blisters.
But they are really, really comfy now that they're worn in. On my second pair of shoes, I have a bunch of pads. My other forms of footwear are hiking boots and Birkenstocks. Also have in here another little case that I use to cover my shoes if I need. If they're just feeling dirty and gross and I don't want them touching everything else, I'll put another pair in here. You can also use like shower caps are great because you can wrap each shoe individually and then space them out if you need, just to make more room and make everything fit a bit nicer. 3 pairs of shoes is a lot. The only reason we have hiking boots this year is because we knew we were coming to South America and we knew we wanted to do a lot of multi-day hiking, which we have done. So they have come in very useful here. Next, I have my shirts. I have my little green lightweight guy in here, 2 sports bras on the top, and then way too many shirts. I think I overpacked in general this year, but trying to pack for all 4 seasons really stressed me out. So there's a lot that I would probably change, but we'll get into that later. In here is my little toiletries case. In here we have, I always grab these packets if we are staying at a hotel or Airbnb that has them. They are full of shampoo because I don't carry shampoo with us. So I always have to hope somewhere has them or that we have things like this. I've never had a problem with that either. If we are that desperate for shampoo, I'll just go and buy a travel size of it. Moisturizer, makeup remover, razors, a little clay mask because I love doing a little spa day, especially after long flights or trains where you just feel a little bit clogged up. SPF, very important. See, look how many shampoos I have. And oil, this comes in handy way more than I would have thought. Jordan actually uses this a lot. just all your basic skincare things. This is probably a bit excessive. I know a lot of people wouldn't bother traveling with this much skincare, but I find joy and happiness in taking my makeup off, putting on a mask, taking 10-15 minutes of self-care for my face. So to me, this is worth the space it takes up. Next is my little makeup bag. In here, we have makeup. I won't go through everything, but I have a foundation, both powder and liquid, a concealer, mascara, bronzer. Something like this comes in so handy. It's a massive mirror, but it's also like 4 things in one. So I don't have 4 individual things. It's all in one neat package. This has sort of become the area for me to keep souvenirs that I don't want super squished, but also it doesn't really matter if they get super squished. This is a souvenir that I bought for one of my best girlfriends. She's getting married this year, so I don't want to open this and show. I don't think she watches the videos, but just in case. That's actually the reason we're flying home soon. It's for this wedding. Next, we have been traveling around since Canada, each carrying one of these books. It weighs a lot, but it's one of those things. The Rocky Mountaineer was such a dream trip for the both of us that I really want to keep this as a souvenir of that time. So it's been with us ever since. Last but not least is my Salcante Trek shirt. This is again one of those things that I wouldn't normally keep, but we are coming to the end of our trip for this year. So carrying this around for a little bit longer is no big deal. On to the other side. This is my laundry bag. The reason I use this rather than the one that comes with the away bag is because I can just tuck this in the wash with everything as well. I took it all out so you didn't see, but this is normally full of all the stuff that needs a wash. So undies that have been worn with shirts and stuff, even if they should probably have a wash, I will try my hardest not to put them in here just because it really changes the way that everything packs until they are to the point where I don't want them touching anything else. Then they'll go in here and I'll accept that I need to rearrange a few things. This year I have 2 individual packing cubes, one for my undies and one for my socks. I definitely overpacked in the undie department this year. The socks I probably underpacked. I only have 1 pair of nice, comfortable, proper hiking socks. So these got reworn way too many times. My other major tip is to bring a pair of comfort socks. So I'm wearing them right now, but they're just like the socks that you can put on at bedtime. They bring you this sense of comfort, coziness. I take them with me on overnight buses and put them on. These are the Globe Light packing cubes. I think I got them because they were available in like Big W back home. They have held up surprisingly well. Blue is the biggest. So on top I have 2 jumpers. One is like a cozy, nicer, I put that in inverted commas, jumper. The other one is like a workout sweatshirt. This year, because we were doing a lot of hiking and outdoor adventure stuff, I packed 4 pairs of leggings. I only have 3 now because we lost one at the laundromat last week. He felt really bad about it though, so I'll give him that. I have 2 skirts that get a lot of use. 1 pair of thermal leggings that again comes in handy time and time again. A pair of shorts that I never really wear apart from to work out in. And one of my first things that I regret bringing this year, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I also have a pair of jeans that I actually get quite a few compliments on. They are the Just Jeans Super 8. They are an actual comfy pair of jeans, which I feel like is quite rare because the year before I was traveling with uncomfy jeans, so I never wore them. These ones I don't mind wearing on travel days. That's how comfy they are. Me and Jordan each have 1 packing cube in our suitcase that we have lovingly referred to this year as long-term storage. Because we have had to pack for all of the seasons, it means that a portion of our clothes and things that we have packed are no longer necessary for the country that we're in. So this has in it my cute, colourful alpaca sweatshirt. I bought this in Peru and wore it a bunch there, but now it is more of a souvenir item rather than a clothing item that I want to wear, so it's been moved into long-term storage. This dress, we'll talk about her later. I have 2 thermal long sleeve tops. I don't need these now that we're in South America. I think I've grabbed for them once or twice on really, really cold nights or on the Salcante Trek. My bathers, pair of gloves, so niche, but I knew I would need these for Canada where it was literally snowing. They also came in handy for the Salcante Trek though because it was freezing at the Salcante Pass. Okay. This is a shirt, and I actually have a couple of them. Look, white just isn't the best color to bring while you're traveling. It's beautiful, and I always gravitate towards white t-shirts, but they just get stained so easily. I have this and another one that I should throw out because they're not useful anymore, but I just know if I can hold on to it until we get home, I could bleach it and then it has a second life. Another thing we'll talk about in a second, a sarong. This is an item I would highly recommend. It can just be used for so many things, and anything that's multi-use in this suitcase gets a massive green tick from me. So I can use this as a cover up, we could use it as a picnic blanket, a beach towel, something to sit on while we're at the beach, a scarf if you need to cover your shoulders or your head, a scarf if you're cold. The list is kind of endless. Last but not least is a souvenir jumper I bought for my niece. That just is living in long-term storage because I don't need it anywhere else. That's it. We did it. She's a bit messy, a bit broken.
I don't think I'm gonna go through my suitcase because it's gonna be a lot of the same stuff, and at the end of the day, it's just t-shirts, jocks, a couple of pairs of shorts, and a pair of jeans. So you have it. All of my storage is actually spent on electronics.
I will say though, your shirt brand that you bought this year, you've really enjoyed them, right? What brand? Perla?
Perla.
Perla. Jordan brought what, 10, 12 Perla shirts?
Yeah, 10.
And they fit really nice, and they've also worn incredibly well.
Yeah, I'll say they fit really well and they don't shrink or expand in any of the washes we've used. So yeah, Perla shirts are important.
And what type of undies do you have? Step one all the way, baby! Step one undies. If you're looking for a nice Christmas stocking stuffer for the man in your life, they seem to apparently be really comfortable, and that's all you own now, right?
Yeah, I threw out every other pair of undies. So step one, bamboo.
Bamboo.
They're made of bamboo.
Oh, I thought you were trying to like, ka-chow, like bamboo.
Can I do this by myself now?
Well, you're not talking about your clothes, so I feel like you need help.
Is that enough for my
You
clothes?
also love your cargo shorts. These are a new addition that I hated until I realized that instead of bringing a bag out, I could just hand him everything that I wanted, and they can go into different pockets.
They're very practical.
Other than that, I think that's it. That's all of your clothes that are interesting to talk about.
All right, go away.
Love you.
Love you. All of the rest of the space in my suitcase is taken up by either electronics or toiletries. We use this case for our toiletries. It looks a bit rough at the moment, but in our first year, we had a different case which didn't fold up like that, and it was like almost like a cube. It was a nightmare. This one folds up. You can hang it in the bathroom, so it's super easily accessible. And if your suitcase is getting crazy, you can spread it out flat over the top. It looks weird because it's open, but it gives you so much more space. What's in here? A pretty much used Colgate, a pretty much used Oral-B. I think we need new toothpaste, monstrous bathing wipes. These are amazing when you're on hikes and you don't have access to a shower. More shampoo, one of our sunblocks, Emily's hairbrush, cotton tips, roll-on deodorant, bug repellent, hair gel that I've neglected to use for a few weeks, and that's it. One of the nice things about always checking our bags is we don't really have to worry about the 100ml limit on airplanes. All the other space, literally anywhere I can carry it, including my cargo shorts pocket, is used for technology. So we're filming now on our camera. It's a Sony a6400 with a little microphone on top. Drone, we use the DJI Mini Mavic 2, and it's only 249 grams, so it's relatively light and we don't have to register it for most countries. Solar rechargeable battery pack. The GoPro usually lives in here. It fits perfectly. Also in my bag, headphones, additional camera equipment like our little Joby, our gimbal, Samsung in-ear wireless headphones, which are great to just grab and go. Lenses also live in this bag, and all of our charging cables. So normally we use this, which is just like an affordable charger. It's got 4 different ports and a changeable head, so you can switch to whichever country you're in. Only other thing in here is one of the heaviest things as well is normally my laptop sits in the back sleeve here with its charger too.
Onto my backpack. I love this backpack. I think it is very cute, but I will not be bringing it next year for a couple of reasons. One, it has just been through it this year. This used to be a lovely cream color, and now it's just a bit turdy. Again, white, cream, light tones aren't the best for while you're traveling because they really show everything. And when that something is a bag that you put on the dirty ground all the time, it gets messy quick. First thing in here is our first aid kit. In here we just have a couple of basics. Band-aids, cold and flu medicine. I have a tendency to get sick with changes of weather. Like if we were at home going from summer to autumn, etc., would generally bring on a cold in me. So I like to keep those just in case. A few packets of moisturizer or any little packets like this that I have, I like to put in here as well. Panadol, Nurofen, lip ointment, a few ear plugs, and a pair of nail clippers. That all lives in here. Noise cancelling headphones are a game changer if you're traveling a lot. Even if you were commuting or something, I think these would make the world of difference. It just is, there's something so nice about hopping on a long overnight bus or an international flight, putting them on, turning on the noise cancelling feature, and what? Get it? Because they're noise cancelling. You can just be in your own world, doing your own thing, not hearing all this just fades into the distance. So highly recommend. Next, I have my Kindle. I love this thing. I have been trying to talk Jordan into getting one for a while, but he is such a person of like, he really enjoys having a paper proper book. But with this, I can have any book I want at any time I want, and it doesn't take up much room, it doesn't take up much weight. So where he has to be careful with which book he's choosing because it might be too bulky or too heavy, I can have whatever I want. In here I have my MacBook. These are a lifesaver. I honestly don't know what we would do without them. They are waterproof, wind resistant, puffy jackets that just come in handy so many times. It's also the perfect shape. The reason I like to keep mine in my backpack, it's such a good pillow on planes, trains, buses, because we don't travel with a neck pillow, it just takes up too much space. But this is basically the same thing. In here, I have both of our passports. I like your hat. I like that it's just blue. If you understand that reference, we can be friends. This, again, a hat just comes in handy so many times. I don't know whether it's the age we are getting to or because we're Australian, but we are so aware of the sun and the harmful effects of getting sunburnt. So having a hat for hikes when you're out during the day, I normally make Jordan carry this in his backpack if we're just out during a day because I tend to get burnt on my scalp, like I can feel the heat a lot there. So I'll just chuck this on while we're walking from A to B and I'm good to go. These two things I keep in my bag no matter what. There are a few things that sort of float between our suitcase and our backpack depending on how packed everything is, how heavy everything is, but I will always keep these on my person because these contain our hard drives, which is all of our videos, all of our photos from this time. So if something were to happen to these, I would just cry. Which actually happened last year, which is why I have this one. So last year, what are they called? Our external hard drive crashed and it had all of our India stuff, all of our Egypt stuff, a majority of our Europe stuff, and that is just gone now, unfortunately. And what I learned from that is that external hard drives are a bit precious. This is a 4 terabyte WD something, and I keep it in here just so as it gets bumped and knocked in my bag, it has a little bit more cushioning. So far it's worked out, knock on wood. In my blue guy, we have some US dollars for some reason. This SanDisk is what I actively work off of. So this is a terabyte portable SSD. SSDs are less likely to crash because of being knocked and bumped around. They're basically just a little bit hardier. I also have two 500 gigabyte Samsung portable SSDs. Also have all of the cords to that as well as card adapters and extra little memory cards. I also always keep this in my backpack. This is my Apple charger. I paid extra to get the higher voltage one, the fast charge, and I genuinely think it was so worth the money. My laptop charges in no time, especially compared to Jordan's. Makes it a little bit heavier and a little bit bigger, but I do think the cost is worth the benefit. I have another little pouch. I don't even know what's in here. Money. A couple of different currencies of money. The reason I have so many little pouches and things in this bag is because one of the major drawbacks is that it is just one big pocket. There's no way of organizing within here unless I do it myself. Even then, things fall to the bottom, things you think you put to one side have moved over. It's just not the best. Some hand wipes, our little notebook that our friends Nick and Sam gave to us. We forgot to pack ours this year and just kept forgetting to buy one. And I love having a notebook. I love a physical to-do list. So thanks, Sam and Nick. On this side, there is a laptop sleeve, which is where my laptop normally lives. That is another one of the things that I just can't go somewhere without unless it's on my person. It's never going in my checked bag or my carry-on. It's always going to be in my backpack with me because again, if we lost that, I would cry. That's everything. This bag is really nice, like it's really cushioned. It's from Captain & Son. It's just the color and the design. So probably on me for picking this one, but it served its purpose this year. I've enjoyed it. I'll just be looking for another one next year. If you have any recommendations of good bags, I know a lot of people seem to use the Wandered Provoke bag, I think it is. Maybe we'll look into that. I don't know, we used the PackSafe bags last year, which are super secure, which is really nice for peace of mind. They're just not the cutest and they are a little bit on the smaller side as well. The longer we go, the more stuff I do want to bring with us just for comfort, because if this is going to be our lives, I do want to be comfortable, so I need a big enough bag. There's one more bag. This is my little handbag. It's from Wandered? No, Wander? I don't know. I really like it. It's like a crossbody sling bag. There is a couple of things that I love about this handbag, but I'm not sure whether I'll bring it with me next year just because we're potentially upgrading our camera. So I'm gonna need to be able to fit a camera in here. And right now, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. But one thing I really like is that these straps are detachable. And the reason I really like that is because if we're sleeping in an airport like Nashville, I can detach one side, loop it through the handle of my suitcase or the handle of my backpack, and then have this around me. And people theoretically wouldn't be able to grab one of those things without yanking me and waking me up. So I really like that. It makes me sleep a lot better. In here, I just have day-to-day things, an extra pair of headphones, gum, lip gloss, sunnies, a little comb, Sharpie. I do normally have pens in here as well, just because you always need pens for flights and international forms and stuff like that. I don't know where it currently is. Oh, a little bit of toilet paper. You just never know what the situation's gonna be at a bus station or an airport. So I like to keep some with me just in case. Again, I have a bunch of like sample packets. This used to be a lot bigger. Things like hand moisturizer, SPF, that are nice to have when you're feeling a bit dry on board an airplane. I know we don't use these much anymore, but you never know when you enter a new country what their requirements are gonna be. Well, you do normally know, but if we're leaving a restaurant and they offer little minties or little candies, I'll maybe grab a couple extra and put them in my handbag. It's just nice sometimes on a stressful, long day to have a little sugar hit. So I have that too, as well as a little mirror that I forgot I had. Oh, yeah. That is everything in my bag. Let me quickly show you the couple of things that I regret packing this year. This is a pair of MacPack waterproof hiking pants. And when they came in handy, I loved them, but they only came in handy like 1 or 2 times in Canada, and that was it. So I think I could have made do those 1 or 2 times with just having my thermal leggings on, maybe another pair of pants over the top, like jeans or something, rather than bringing these, just because they're quite bulky as well. So they've taken up quite a lot of space in my long-term storage. So I won't be bringing those next year. This dress, super cute, and I do love this dress. I just only reached for it, I think 2 times when we were in like Cartagena and Palomino, places that were really, really hot. So not worth the space it takes up. The aim of these pants were last year I had these 2 pairs, a black pair and a cream pair of these really nice linen wide leg flowy pants that I adored and I wore constantly. They were as comfy as leggings but looked as nice as jeans in my opinion. So they were the perfect mix for while we were traveling, especially hot countries where I still felt like I wanted to cover up, like India and Egypt. They covered your knees but they weren't too heavy, or they weren't as constricting as jeans. That was the goal of these pants, but they're just not as wide and flowy as I would have liked. They're also not as cozy as like a pair of track pants, so it's kind of the worst of everything. My only other regret pack, I think, from this year is I just packed way too many pairs of undies, and that's taken up a lot of space, but I still can't bring myself to just throw some out and make space. I know I don't need them, but what if I need them? This is that thing that I need to get rid of when I'm initially packing a bag. I need to remember this feeling because once it's in here, I kind of am committed to it in the worst way. Other things I wouldn't pack next year, but I don't necessarily regret from this year are my hiking boots. Unless we are going somewhere specifically for the hiking, or I know we're going to hike a lot, these just take up probably a quarter of one side of the bag quite comfortably, plus they are very heavy. So while they have been perfect for this year and I will use them time and time again in the future, I just don't think I'll take them on any trips unless that is what the trip is for. My lightweight green shirt has just had it. She's tattery and broken. Jordan hates this with a passion for some reason. I think it's the color he doesn't like, which I really like. I like this green. To me, it's this nice, cozy, comfy material. It's lightweight, so I can wear it when I'm hot still and just have like a little bit of sun protection. I can use it as a pillow on board. It has just come in handy so many times and it's something I reach for constantly. It's had its time. It won't be coming with me next year, but I, again, am desperate to find another one of something like this. I think the issue I have is this one is such a comfy material, and all of the others that I seem to find aren't. They're quite rigid and stiff, which I don't want. I want something comfy. There is one thing that I really miss from last year as well, and that is this perfume that I had. The one that smelled like clean laundry. I just adore that smell, and it was one of those perfume that lingers for a long time as well, so you'd spray it in the morning and you'd still catch whiffs of it in the evening. We each travel with the Away Bigger carry-on suitcase, and to be honest, they have a lot of pros and cons. I think 90% of people that are travel content creators seem to have this bag, and it is for a lot of good reasons. The main being the size. Hey Siri, what's the dimensions of the Away Bigger carry-on? Exterior measurements are 21.7 inches by 14.4 by 9. Like the name suggests, it's bigger than a regular carry-on size. For lots of budget airlines, this is actually too big to be carry-on, technically speaking. So we do end up checking this 99% of the time anyway, but it's nice to have that option if you need. It has 4 wheels as well as a TSA approved lock. Jordan's was actually broken last year around when we were in India. Basically, he couldn't wheel it on 4 wheels very smoothly anymore. You know when like you get the dodgy trolley at the supermarket? That was his away bag. And this year mine has a few annoying habits. One of which is that the handle doesn't come out in a nice smooth motion like it should. You actually have to like yank it quite hard. I normally can't do it without hurting my shoulder, so I get Jordan to do it a lot. Or half the time I end up just not bothering pulling it out all the way and I have to walk sort of hunched over a little bit. So with our Away Bigger carry-ons, we have a 50% hit rate. Jordan's broke last year, mine doesn't work fully this year. In my opinion, you are either a packing cube person or you haven't used them correctly. I am so pro packing cubes now. They just make everything really nice and organized, and I know, oh, if I want a shirt, it's in my little pink one. If I need some bottoms, it's in my blue one. If you need to open this bag at TSA and they want to rummage through and look for that particular thing that's over your 100ml limit, your undies aren't going flying. It's not as embarrassing. I feel like this cube encapsulates perfectly my thoughts on folding versus rolling. And that is that it really depends on the item. To me, there is no point trying to roll up something big and bulky like a pair of jeans or a jumper like this. But all my leggings, yeah, I'm gonna roll them up. That makes more sense to me. That feels more compact and nice. So what we do is I keep track of the actual passports, and Jordan has a little important documents folder, I guess you could call it, that it have physical photocopies and printouts of our passports or like any important things like that. I think it used to have like our COVID vaccine and like proof of tests and all that stuff. We also have copies of this in our emails, just because if we were in a pinch and we needed to find that, you normally need to find it pretty quick. So it's good to have on hand. Also comes in handy, Jordan has this theory that if you're getting motion sickness and you wear a hat, it gives you like a horizon to look at. So it has helped with that with me on the buses in Colombia and stuff. This really helped. Now for the real challenge. We have to fit all of this into a carry-on suitcase. I have a few tactics that we've picked up over the years. The first of which is I go for this side first. This side being the one that is encapsulated with this. And that is because in my mind, I can use this cinching method to try and really squish a lot in. So everything that is going on this side can be compressed and isn't at risk of breaking. So bottoms. I also try and put the heavy things at the bottom near the wheels, because the last thing you want is like a top heavy bag that you have to wheel around the airport. Beautiful. It's getting serious. Next, I put my long-term storage in here. I try and squeeze it in so there's plenty of room as well. See how that's like too big? My theory is that when we cinch it down with this, it will be fine. Next, I tend to use this little gap for my undies, my socks, my wash bag, which does normally at least have a couple of things in there. I've just put my pajama shirt in there. I would love to say that I pack the same every single time and that I have it down to a very pristine method. But to be honest, with the amount that's in your laundry bag or in any of your other things, depending on what you're wearing that day, I do feel like this bag packs differently every single time. I think that's good for that side. We will come back to it though. In this pocket, I tend to put my book and this shirt. Is this the best use of space? Probably not, but it works. Now on the zippable side, I start with my Birkenstocks and I try and put them separate but together. So they're each on one side, sort of pushed to the edge as much as possible, not getting in the way. Hopefully that works. I am also going to pack with my hiking boots just to show you the real difficulty levels. I like to fill these with stuff just to make use of every little space. Next, I try and put them in a bag like this. Beautiful. For each of the packing cubes, my method is kind of roll what is small and flexible, like t-shirts and leggings, fold what isn't, like sports bras or jeans or jumpers. And then I also try and like color code within, so one half will kind of be all of my white or lighter colored shirts, and then the other half is my darker colored. Squeeze this in. Next, we keep going biggest to smallest during the packing system because the bigger ones obviously are harder to fit in around all of the little things. So I'll put this in. It squishes quite nicely sideways. Increasing the difficulty level again is the fact that I'm trying to take Jordan's Mac pack for him. Again, there's a bit of give and take. He does take the toiletries bag, so I try and help out when and where I can. Let's move this book over. Maybe if we go sideways. Nice. Perfect. Then we have this. I think this is the smallest packing cube that I have. I tend to also pack it upside down like that because for some reason it tends to be like a bit of a pyramid shape. So that's the small leg. Nice. Now, all I have left is a little hair clip. That's high risk. That probably will break one day, but it hasn't yet. I like to give it a bit of a massage to just make everything really mold into one another. For this section, I actually stand on it just to really get a good compression on all of these packing cubes. I also think the book comes in helpful here because it's like this big solid surface that I'm pushing down to make everything tight. Now we do the classic sit on top. And just like that, we have packed for an entire year for all 4 seasons in a carry-on suitcase. Not bad.
Testing the audio.